on, Mama Fiyah.
Right on.
Had some technical difficulties there momentarily. We want to welcome everybody on Facebook Live. I think there was an error where it was showing up on the Ayana Shack page as opposed to the True Love Movement page. That's straightened out now. So we want to thank everybody. Shout out to Brother Nadir and Sister Charlita for tuning in.
Yeah.
And everybody
Shout
else.
out to my sisters and brothers.
That's right. Everybody who's listening on the web, or on the www.wbok1230am.com. Everyone on the app, the WBOK app. Everybody everywhere. We got some folks listening from out of town. We had a little time zone slip up that we corrected. This is Central Standard Time. So we want to thank everybody. There's so many things that you could be doing right now, and we are really honored and grateful that you've chosen to spend this time with us. Crucial time, too, Mama Fiyah.
Yes, that's why the show is an important one. We should jump right in.
Definitely. So today's topic, without any further ado, because it is a jam-packed show, and there's a lot that's happening, as always, but today's topic is just us, Mama Fiyah.
Come on.
Many of our people are feeling played right now, whether it's from this election or from whatever else, other foolishness that we're experiencing as a ramification of being in these United States. And, we've been, the cry for justice is as ancient as I don't know what, especially in the United States, in this relationship that we have had with so-called white people. I mean, and I was looking at it, Richard, because I was looking for something different, but there is no evidence whatsoever that there was ever a healthy, mutually respectful, sincere, authentic, humane relationship between black people and white people in this so-called country ever.
That's right.
And that's important for us to understand. That, and the fact that we're not always cognizant of that is another indicator that we are not well mentally. Mama Fiyah.
I hear you.
That's a kind of our lane as far as True Love Movement is concerned. We're not a reactionary show. We're not a reactionary organization, and the things that are becoming more and more popularized as of late are things that we have actually been, using our airtime wisely.
That's right.
To talk about and raise awareness, and of course been doing it in our personal and private lives for a very long time.
That's right.
Anyway, this show is just a glimpse of kind of what we do, but by no means is it the whole thing, and it definitely isn't limited to talking. As a matter of fact, that is the least of it, Mama Fiyah.
Well, let me say this, that for the last 3 years, the message has been the same. And no, we don't say the same thing in the same way all the time, but the bottom line is the same, is that it's us that's going to save and empower and rise us up only, period. It's us that's going to have to do it. And that's been the message, the message of mental wellness, black-specific mental wellness in order for the rise to happen. Our message has been the same, and it's because our people need it over and over and over again, Brother Shaq. Our people, and for our people who, we've never gotten the feedback where y'all always talking about the same thing. We never get that feedback because it's said in so many different ways and through so many different veins for people to understand that it's just us.
Right.
It is just us, my people. Stop looking and stop searching for something outside of yourself. It is just us. And so that it just seems like the things that are happening around us is not letting up. And it's not going to let up.
And it never has.
Well, Brother Shaq,
400 years.
We, as the people who are witnessing it and really empathizing and sympathizing with it as black people, we're just like, Lord, when is it going to end? It's not going to end.
It's not going to end.
It's not going to end, y'all. There's a seriousness about this message today that everybody needs to get.
Definitely.
If they're not listening and if they're not watching now, then we need to share it and spread it all over the place. It is just us. Stop trying to include everybody, because we are our only way out.
And we should be, though, Mama Fiyah.
That's right.
That's the thing. I want to say rise in power to the sister who was, there was another report there in the news where a sister in Jefferson Parish, incidentally, was murdered yesterday by apparently a boyfriend. It seemed like it was a domestic violence situation, Mama Fiyah.
Rise in power, queen.
And it would have seemed that sister was in a very bad relationship, and I'm sure that there were things and red flags that probably happened before this last and final thing, because with dealing with domestic violence, and True Love Movement certainly does provide support and assistance for couples and people
in trainings for healthcare providers on domestic violence, because it's a serious issue in every culture, but especially our culture, because that's the one we're concerned about, is our mamas being murdered and our women being killed by the hands of our brothers.
And so, though we did not know that sister personally, it is still a tragedy, and a great tragedy. But to look at just that particular story, there's a lesson in that.
Come on.
And so we look at that story where someone is in an unhealthy relationship that is abusive, and they're being violated and disrespected and all kinds of things. That won't just get better with time, Mama Fiyah. Like if you can look at our people in the same way, like we were forced onto ships and kidnapped and brought here. This is how the relationship began with these people. This is the way the relationship began. There was no respect. We were forced into this. And the cognitive dissonance that has set in with our people, and I realize that came about likely, Mama Fiyah, just trying to cope. Because throughout this entire ordeal, throughout our centuries-long history in this relationship, there has been no redress for what has been done to us at the hands of these people.
That's right.
And so it's like being in that kind of relationship where somebody continuously abuses you and violates you and messes over you and just takes your humanity from you completely, again and again and again and again.
Just like a domestic violence relationship.
Just like a domestic violence relationship, and you're sitting there and you're making excuses and saying, well, eventually they're going to stop. They're going to have to see that what they've been doing is wrong, or they're going to be good to us. So they were just upset, and that was a long time ago. Like, we're making excuses, and because we have lost our humanity, we've lost our dignity, and we have also been socialized into thinking that we cannot exist without this relationship.
That the domestic violence, the science behind it is that there are series of it's a cycle, right? It's a series of movement that happens.
Right.
And a lot of the time, women can't break that cycle because they're connected to this person financially. So they can't leave because this person pays all their bills. Or
right.
They can't pay their bills on their own, or and that's a serious part of the reason why we think we can't disconnect.
Right, because it is the felt.
And you think of a woman like this sister, think of from the outside, we thinking, oh, sis, we would have helped you. Oh, sis, you didn't have that to do. You didn't have to go back, and you could have done it. We know from outside that she could have done it without the brother, and we don't know their situation. So not that sister, but any sister that's in a domestic violence relationship. It makes no sense. You can beg and plead them, sister, I'll take you in, or sister, we'll figure it out. But they always go back because they feel a codependency on that person, that they can't make it without them. And that's what we're feeling about the United Snakes of America, Brother Shag. And that's just the truth.
And even though the relationship is as bad and volatile as it is, our minds have been socialized to think that's still better than going out there on our own. Mama Fiyah.
It's scary.
And we should certainly say, without there is no judgment, of course, on this sister or anyone else in a domestic violence situation. Because Mama Fiyah, you've been in a domestic violence situation.
Oh, yes, I have. I've been in it, and I've studied it because during my internship, I had to spend 1 whole year at a domestic violence shelter, and then do trainings for the sisters that were in the shelter. So it was a counseling center and shelter together, which makes sense. And then there were a 6-week program that the sisters had to be a part of if they were going to be in the shelter.
Right.
And so I taught that over and over and over again. And so the understanding of domestic violence is part of my training as a counselor, and I really, really understand it. We were talking the other day, Brother Shaq, about my domestic violence situation, that, I had support and help from my mother, who was like, you don't have this to do, sis. Like, I love you. You don't have this to do. Let's do what we got to do. And black people don't realize, in the analogy, black people don't realize they have the support to do.
Now we're getting somewhere. Mama.
Well, we've been getting somewhere the whole time, as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely.
But
That's the application of it. So instead of us trying to get justice from the people who are either doing it to us directly or complicit in doing it to us, or benefiting from it happening, why wouldn't we get justice where we can get justice at?
The only place we can get justice, Brother Shaq.
And that place it is for us and it is by us. But here's the thing, though. We're not talking about getting something from your own people in the same condition. We're talking, as a matter of fact, the opposite, in looking at what it is that you can offer in terms of relief and support to benefit your own people. In other words, if we have an open enemy, and we've had for a long time, and we know the terrorism in the United States against black and brown bodies and anything that is non-white has always been real. This is terrorism. We've just adapted to it, and it's our way of life, but this is exactly what terrorism is in terms of the way the United States defines terrorism, in the way. So it's not ISIS and it's not Al Qaeda. It's not all this. It's this racist environment that has been constructed this way to benefit so-called white people. It's an arrangement. That's terrorism.
Brothers and sisters, if you feel that feeling when you see blue and red lights behind you, that feeling, that's terrorism.
Yes.
That's terrorism. And there are many other feelings now, especially we are completely on guard. And no one should live their life always on guard, Brother Shaq, always waiting for it. And then the thing about it is we waiting for it from the police. We waiting for it from Trump supporters of white people. And then we waiting for it from our people as well.
So now we get down to where the mental health work comes from and what it is exactly that we do, whether you are new to True Love Movement or rediscovering what True Love Movement is. So we help our people work through that particular thing in a way that there's no Eurocentric school or training or any of that can or will do, because everything that has been devised inside of this racist system is there to perpetuate it. Everything. And so within the arrangement, black people have a place. And our place is not of free people in any way. And we have to understand where the shackles are literally in our minds. And it's been done that way on purpose, because that's the only thing you can really do after you take the physical chains off of somebody, is you get into their head. So when we go back to the example we were using earlier, inside of the domestic violence situation, that is about mind control.
Yes.
That is about having somebody think that. Apologize to our Facebook Live family. We realize that there has been some interruption with the program.
Come on. We know why.
Obviously, this is a powerful show. We did have some lights flicker in the station, and it knocked off the live stream feed. We did have some phone calls and some people who text messages that were saying that we were without sound, and so we're in the process of correcting that, if you'll just bear with us. For everybody who's listening, again, we thank you for your patience and your support and the way you're choosing to spend this hour. I'm going to go also open up the phone lines, 504-260-9265. Again, that calling number is 504-260-9265 for the True Love Movement Hour right here on December 12th. I'm sorry, December 3rd.
I'm about to say, brother, wow.
2016 here in New Orleans on WBOK 1230 AM, Real Talk for Real.
That who am I to say you need to stay home and you can't do this and you can't do that, watch your back. And it's like we've inherited this feeling of fear, from just being black, this feeling of fear that we could be hurt, our children could be hurt, and we have passed that on, to our next generation, to our young people. And when does it end? When are we ever safe? When will we ever be safe? Because that's what I want to cultivate, is a culture of safeness with each other. Because we can't control how we are looked at by white people. We can scream as loud. We can scream and say we want justice. You're treating us wrong. This is unfair, and you are killing us in cold blood. You can tell them that, y'all, but it does not matter. It doesn't matter. Let's bring the message to where it does matter, to each other, and understand fully that we are responsible for each other's health. We are responsible for each other's unity, connection, love. We are responsible for that. That's what just us means.
That's right. And I really do want us to understand that there is something. This thing that we're talking about here is, in my estimation, the main and single most important thing. I would call it the mental health crisis.
Yes.
Amongst our people, because we are sick. We could not have gone through all that we've experienced and not be sick. So for us not to have compassion for one another is an indicator that we are sick, because we're in the same condition as black people here. And I want us to understand that liberation for black people means separation from white people. Those two things, because we have to look at, again, if we look at the history of the relationship, it has never been good for us. And I want you to just hold on a second before you say, well, wait a minute, I know some good white people, and I have some good white co-workers, and I have friends that are white, family that's white, and that's fine, because I get that. But the masses of our people, the thing about our white friends and white co-workers and so forth, and I've known and know and have met many white organizers and anti-racist white racist organizers and such, that they are white people who are out here that are doing that particular work. But white people, their challenge is to do it with white people. In other words, if things were working as they should in the face of this racist system, you would have the droves of white people protesting this murder and the release of this white man. That's when something is actually working. So because our white friends and co-workers and relatives and what have you are still benefiting from their position at the top of this thing inside of this racist regime. But that's the arrangement. Whether they want that benefit or not, they still have it. So if they're not actively fighting against it and organizing together, not with us, not at all with us, but them doing it, if that's not happening, then they're not doing anything to stop it. So that's where you have to understand where the lines are. It's no different, Mama Fiyah. We have so many listeners out here that are nice, they're good people. But if they invite me to their home and and I go and they say, hey man, make yourself at home, make yourself comfortable. It's like, all right, you can take off your shoes. All right, cool. I don't live there. I may be comfortable, but I don't live there because that's their house. And even if they say, hey, you know what, man, you're here so much, you can stick around. It's cool. All right, I'm going to do that. But I still don't own this place. You see what I'm saying? And so because of that, they're still making the decisions. And because it's theirs, it doesn't belong to me. That analogy is for us trying to go to and maneuver inside of this system. This system represents somebody else's house. So in other words, we're not going to be able to go to their house and then infiltrate their house and set up shop in their house and then go against them in their house because it's their house. That's where the insanity comes in. You see what I'm saying? Because we're thinking that they should let us in and that they should, you know, that somehow that's the thing. Like, just like if we were like we looked at the newscast yesterday, where they were talking about the man was released. He was never actually arrested, but he was released from the police station. And then they showed how there were at least two units at his house, and that's because the enemy understood that was something that should bring retribution. But something in us said, you know, that hey, it's wrong, it's foul, it's low down. But there was nothing that we did about that. We didn't act any kind of way about that. And I only bring that up because when we're looking for, when we're talking about action, you know what I'm saying, Mama Fiyah? You were saying how our people want action, and we always talk about we want to see something, and we want our what we're going to see is not going to look like the homeowners, because this is their house, so they are protecting themselves, and they are armed, and they are ready for whatever could happen, because they understand that they're at war. It's just that we really haven't begun to internalize the fact that we're at war. And every time something bubbles up a little bit, we act as though it's uncharacteristic of war.
Right.
And how could they do this? And I can't believe they're doing this. And then for the people who were the preachers or whatever. So some preachers come out and they say, you know, not to protest and tell people to stand down, and some of our people took issue with that. But if nothing else, if you don't understand the movie that we recently saw, that the brother Nate Parker, The Birth of a Nation, did a wonderful job, I think, a very skillful job in indicting the entire history of this religion that white people gave to black people, enslaved Africans on the plantation. And in particularly, it showed the pastor or preacher's role as a tool.
That's right.
For again, you know, maintaining the structure of white supremacy. That's what that is. So that shouldn't be strange either. That's exactly what that role is.
Listen, cognitive dissonance is a defense mechanism. It's a mechanism we use to not completely lose our minds about what the history and what our own collective history has been,
yes,
how awful it's been. We have to do something to maintain balance in your brain. But right now is the time for all of us to shake it off, off the cognitive dissonance, and understand right now that we are the only way that we are going to rise. Black people are the only people that will make sure that we are okay, that we have any type of justice
and we should
on this land. And oh yeah, we definitely should, but people, you know, as long as we're begging, y'all, as long as we marching, we have to do something that we've never done before to get the results, to get different results, Brother Shaq.
Right.
We have to. Have we ever done serious, strict unity between our people, love between black people, and you know, separation from white people?
No.
Brother Shaq, have we ever done that?
We have never.
You know, and so we have, in order to get something we've never gotten, we have to do something that we've never done before. And yes, it's possible. People say, black people ain't never going to love each other, man. Black people ain't never going to get down with one another. And as long as you keep saying that, brother or sister, it will not happen.
Definitely.
So it's about the vision of it and what it looks like. It's about you doing that. You doing that for your people, no matter where they are in the grand scheme of black people. Our people are everywhere and in every part of, you know, existence and life. And so we have to love them everywhere they are. And can you do that? That's the challenge.
Right.
That's where justice is you doing that for our people, our children, our mothers and our fathers and our brothers and sisters, is you doing that.
And not underestimating the power of that. And that really, essentially, is what exactly True Love Movement is founded on, which is self-love.
That's right.
That is the key piece. And then if you don't have that clear, if you're not able to do that, then none of the other things will make sense. And you're not going to be able to be successful at any of the other things. The idea, and I want us to really think, and I don't know that we've really thought deeply about it, but I want us to think about the impact of really what racism has done to us in terms of our mind, because that's what the whole point of this thing is, which is staying in our mind. We are immediately thinking that it can't be done, that we can't rely on our own people. I mean, when you think about how insane that sounds, Mama Fiyah, that
we have to.
Black people are unable, ill-equipped to rely on black people. First of all, that is the key vulnerability that we have. That is what keeps us in this condition. No amount of yelling and screaming at our own people is going to bring us out of that. We are angry, we are hostile, and rightfully so, but we are also sick. And we're not acknowledging that we're sick, and so we're expecting to bring about good, positive results without dealing with the sickness that we have. And I'm only saying this and stressing this because that is our white mind. See, we don't even get that. We got that. That's part of the white mind, meaning that we're going to deal with this thing top down.
That's
that
right.
Even when we approach the situation, we're still thinking through the way we've been socialized to think externally that it's, see, every time when you talk to black people, they say, well, you see, but the problem is some of our people still sleep. Like, we immediately go to the things outside of our immediate control as impediments and say that's why it can't be done, as opposed to looking at the personal power that you have to create it, demonstrate what it looks like, and then influence the behavior of other people who look like you, who are in your condition.
Yes.
The reason why that doesn't happen is that's evidence of our sickness. You see what I'm saying? So we're not operating from a well position, and so we're not really able to fight this beast in the way that really is advancing our people. That's why we're still stuck in the same condition that we have been for centuries, essentially.
And let me say this: anyone sick can be well again.
That's right.
That you are not dead,
No.
my people. You are not a dead people. And whoever say that we are, they can get kicked to the curb quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Well, they are.
We are.
They're definitely.
We are not a dead people. Yes, we may be sick, but wellness is easy to get. Wellness, when you really accept the sickness and say, you know what, I ain't gonna lie, I've been operating from a sick, paradigm. I've been operating from a sick place. I'm ready to be well. I'm ready to know my power. And so it can happen. Brother Sheck, when you talk about from the top down, that means a lot to me, yeah.
Right.
Because people want to say, okay, we got to get into the policy makers, and
Right.
we got to change the policy, and yeah,
we gotta be part of their system. We got to be in that house.
Make sure you vote, y'all, because we might get a racist person in office. It does not matter.
Right.
It starts from the inside out, not from the top down, not from the bottom up. It starts from the inside out.
Right.
That's the answer, y'all. And on a macro scale, it starts with you, inside of you. And then on a micro scale, it starts inside of you. On a macro scale, it starts inside of black people. It starts inside of unity here. And we don't know where unity can go from here, but we know we need that piece of the puzzle just to make it work. We don't know what it look like, because I don't hate nobody, Brother Shay.
Well,
nobody.
I want to cover that, what you just talked about. Now, intellectually, many of our people will say or recognize that we need unity. I hear it all the time, and I've heard it for many, many years, and I'm sure I know they've been talking about unity long before we even came along, Mama Fiyah. So intellectually we know. So let that be the evidence for you that there is cognitive dissonance here. Because we have sense enough to know intellectually that this is what needs to take place. But there is something lacking within us to bring that into reality. So if we have the intellect to do it, what in the world could be stopping us? And the thing is the metaphysical thing you were just talking about. What's happening in the mind? That's what's stopping the unity. And the fact that because we're not really comfortable with that, and then we don't think we know what to do with that, or that anything can be done with that, the cognitive dissonance kicks in, and so then we go back to, we sound like politicians. Collectively, here's what I mean by that. I don't know, Mama Fiyah, if you've ever had a conversation with a politician, and I've had several. I wouldn't really call it conversations, but we had some kind of an exchange. And what I mean by that is they'll, like maybe you'll say something and make a point, and then they'll repeat exactly what you said as though they thought of it and then expand on it and then overtalk you as though you don't know what you're talking about. That is a crazy thing. I've had that experience before, Mama Fiyah. I don't know about you, but it's that kind of a thing that after we explain and lay it out to somebody what's happening, they revert to, oh, but you see, our people can't stick together. When we just provided you with a way
dissonance.
Right. And so, but part of the side effect of cognitive dissonance is that it's the Easter Bunny or the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus. It's like it's not real. So
right.
so you're saying cognitive dissonance, but I don't have cognitive dissonance. Our people just need to do this. If our people just do A, B, and C, then we would be fine. And completely missing what, in fact, that is in terms of executing it. What is our impediment? We know what it is, a true love movement. We know exactly what it is, and that is the work we do.
That's the work we do all the time. And I think when you tell somebody that black people are sick, they disconnect from that idea of being sick. But can we at least understand that black people are hurt?
Oh, yeah.
And so when you're hurt, we talked about this last year, broken and confused. What name you need to understand that black people are struggling, and there's no answer except for the answer that black people can give.
Right.
There's no answer outside yourself, my people. There's only answer inside of us, inside of just us. And that's what we're talking about today is the understanding of justice for black people, and that justice will not be given outside of ourselves.
No.
That the stomping of the feet and the temper tantrums and whatever we got to throw, it will not be given. It has to be taken. It has to be taken from us and to us. And so for us to understand what it even means to have power, Brother Shaq, I mean, in our minds, the cognitive dissonance tell us, oh, we good, Listen, all we want is them to stop killing us. Then we good, y'all. We are good. Right. And that is cognitive dissonance.
Right.
To understand we have no power in this system, and that is on purpose.
This relationship.
The relationship. And where do we have power? With each other. Yes, we do. When we understand what that means, when we understand what justice means for black people, when we understand what it means to give each other justice, Brother Shaq. I give you justice all the time, brother. I love you. And the brother gives me justice back. I give justice in my household to my family. And justice is just another part of love. Justice is how love expands and blooms out, is what you do out of respect for another human being, no matter how old that person is.
Right.
And that's what justice looks like for black people, is when we honor each other. Honor, respect, and fairness. Fairness. When we treat each other fairness, no matter what social economic class you're from, y'all.
Right.
Black overpowers that. Because I was talking to a young lady the other day, and she was talking about how a family member of hers treats their family so mean because she, made it out. She made it out, of the quote unquote ghetto. Like even though she grew up with food stamps and welfare, she grew up with that way, and then she made it out. She had an opportunity and she took it, and so she became this professional person and started making a lot of money and started buying all these big things, and then she started looking down on her own family, and because we think social economic status really makes you different, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you black anymore. It doesn't make you at your core anymore. You're not escaping that, y'all. Justice means no matter where you are on the social economic ladder, is that you still treat each other fairly with love and compassion. And that's what we can work on as black people. And you know what? It has to happen fast, Brother Jack. It needs to happen right now. People want to know, what can we do? What can we do? How can we really... That's what we can do. That's what we can focus on right now. And people think, well, what's that going to do? That's not going to make them treat us fair.
Yes.
You know?
It's not about them treating us any damn.
Come on, they gonna treat us bad no matter, yo. Come on.
Yeah, it's not about them.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought that up, Mama Fiyah, because of the fact that we have power that we don't recognize because of our orientation to power. We think power, the way we orientated to power is that it's something that somebody has over somebody else, because that's the way we've been. That's the way we've experienced power, and it wasn't something that we've had. So we want our power to look like white power. That's the truth.
Oh.
People hollering black power really are saying we want that. We just want it to look black.
Oh, come
you see
on.
what I'm saying? And so that causes us to many times oppress or desire to oppress our own people, because we want to, because power, again, we see power as not the ability to create something, but power is to be able to make something else or someone else submit to your will against their own. So that misunderstanding of power and our orientation to it keeps us in that loop. So when we're talking about what we've talked about on the show for some years with soft power, which ain't nothing soft about love, and how that can create all that we need, well, we don't want to touch that because that sounds stupid to us.
Yeah,
because we need, that's weak. You know, we forget that the fact we're being oppressed and messed over, that in a relationship that we keep running back to. Let's forget that.
Come on.
But that we're crazy if we're saying, no, we can love our way out of this thing because of the misunderstanding of what love is and what love does, Mom.
That's
so
right.
I thank you for that. We got the lines lit up. Let me give out that call-in number one more time. Again, the call-in number is 504-260-9265. The call-in number for the True Love Movement Hour is 504-260-9265. Shout out to everybody that has been keeping up with us regardless of all of the technical difficulties on the Facebook Live and you listening on the air in the studio in the rain. We give thanks, and without any further ado, let me go to this call. What's happening, caller? Thank you for calling. What's happening?
Well,
Thank you for holding. Welcome to the True Love Movement Hour. What's happening? Hey, what's
God
going
bless you,
on,
brother.
What you see? Sure. It illuminates our connection to one another. That's the whole point of it. It's just a reminder, a verbal reminder that we are in fact connected.
We family. Yeah. And we know in some families that don't matter. And so we get into a deeper issue there that we can definitely work on. Go ahead, brother.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
And some like they'll respond quite positively to the scriptures,
Mm-hmm.
but they won't respond at all to black culture, black history information. It's just like it was not even posted on the Facebook yesterday. I find that quite disturbing.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear that, Brother Eric. We kind of alluded to that earlier, and we definitely talked about it some weeks ago on the show too. I'm reminded by something that very recently the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, that he says that us getting together and us ain't about no religion. We don't care nothing about no religion. We ain't even gonna talk about no religion because we don't understand that anyway. But we do understand freedom, and after we get free, then we can talk about your religion and my religion and all that other foolishness. But I'm not about to let some religion that someone picks or some position or philosophy that they pick separate me from my own people, because we all have the same struggle against the same enemy.
And people are looking for the answer. People
Right.
want the answer. The answer is in we.
Right.
The answer is in us.
And just us.
Just us.
And I wanted to say that too. We talked about it earlier, but just that this isn't something that we're going to be able to do with white people. Man, I know that's going to crush a lot of folk. But,
Yeah.
but meaning meaning they're not going to be able to help us in this thing together. They can help the cause by organizing themselves and going to their own people and teaching their own people about the way they have been unjust to black and brown and anybody other than white people as a result of this racism, as a result of this structural, institutional, and personal racism that benefits so-called white people here in America. That's the work of white people who really love black people. Everything else is just in the way. But that isn't something that black and white people are going to be able to do together holding hands. Not at all. So we each have work to do. And so, but if our people would simply just operate with love and compassion with each other, that would take care of so many of the things, bro.
And it would be easier to organize then, too.
Sure.
We
could organize.
We could organize because it's really difficult to organize in a group of people that hate each other. And that want to
sick people that are hate.
That want to one up each other. That want to hurt each other. They want to be better than each other. They want to, it's really difficult to organize in those kind of in that structure.
And we have biases, Mama Fiyah, Brother Eric. We have biases as black people who are so-called aware or woke or enlightened or whatever. We have biases because I know I have biases myself, and I know how to catch myself with some of my stuff, meaning there's certain kinds of attitudes and positions that rub me the wrong way. It's still my people, but I find myself struggling to deal with certain positions because I know differently and what have you. And so that's me understanding that I've got biases as a black man, and I've been socialized that way with my own people.
Yes.
So there's always a significant amount of personal work to do for all of us as we are developing ourselves to be better quality people to each other.
Yes.
That's the thing. And so I applaud you for being conscientious and conscious, but definitely deliberate about loving on your people in the best way that you can.
Yes.
And so in setting an example like that whatever the religion is of our people or whatever their political position or any of that, that's all moot, man. Because, I mean, if we had, well, like I think there was a Dr. Samori, he put up a quote or an African proverb saying that if we're being chased by a leopard, I'm not going to stop and ask you, is it a male or a female? You understand? So let's focus on what's important, man. We thank you, Brother Eric.
God bless you.
I know. And looks like we still got the lines lit up. We're going to try to catch this caller. Thank you for calling the True Love Movement Hour. What's happening? Hey, greetings there, brother. What you say, man? That's right. That's right.
So it's very important that we do come together and work together. And I like your analogy when you mentioned about being in a home and a European advice. But I want to say it like this. If I'm in your home and you invite me and you cook in your gym, so when I get ready to go to the refrigerator, I kick my feet up. And your son kick my feet down. Your daughter still drink on me. Your auntie, your uncle, all of these people that's in your European family doing these things to me. You need to stop.
Right.
Because you invited me. I don't need you to come work with me in my community.
Come
You
on.
shut it down and stop.
Tell the
All
truth.
my Europeans who say they're so good and have a genuine concern for us, shut it down with you.
Get your people.
Right.
Get your people.
Right? Now, it's the last thing. I'm so tired of people saying it's 2016 and still going on.
Come on.
Right.
It's not
Or
going to
1620. Right. Or even 1620, bro. You know, it don't matter the date. It's the same situation. Time's not going to stop this. The only people that are going to stop this, or the only thing is the force of black people.
And just us.
And
Just us will stop it.
If it's just us, you might as well come together and make it work. Because you know it's just us getting convicted. It's just us being murdered by the police.
Come on.
Just us coming together and just us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right on.
Yes.
Right on. Thank you, dear brother.
And just us is justice. And that's that's the justice that we're going to understand. That's the justice that we are going to get. It's just us.
And it's the power that we're understanding that it's not contingent on whether somebody else is going to give it to us. Because Mama Fiyah, that's where the disappointment comes in. It's that relationship, it's that bad relationship, and now something else has happened, and now we're let down again. Now we're disappointed. And man, they keep doing us like this because we're being deceived, thinking that we've got a good thing. If we looked historically, we realize we got no good thing at all in this situation. That we can spend our time, our energy, building up our own. And just doing that, we don't have to tear down anybody, but we can just build up our own. I mean, that's the real work. But that can't be done with people who don't really love each other.
When justice happens, we will be able to come together and fight. But until then, you know, we're going to be scattered in so many different pockets and disrespecting and hating on each other.
That's right.
But when we come together, we are mighty, mighty force, y'all. Because we're mighty force physically. You know, they real afraid of you, black man.
Oh, yeah.
And then we come together mentally. You know, we have some skills and we are intellectual people.
Indeed.
But when we come together spiritually, Brother Shaq, that is something that they cannot win.
Sure.
They cannot win when we come together. So that's why just us is so important. And when we understand that it is just us.
That's when Haiti defeated their oppressor, it was just them. It was just us that did that.
That's right.
You see
Just
what I'm saying?
us.
That was a spiritual situation. It was just us. And so it's been a really fast hour. We do have the lines still lit up. We're going to try to catch another call or so. We appreciate our producer. We certainly appreciate you for hanging with us on the True Love Movement Hour. Go ahead, caller. Thank you for holding. Fantastic.
Doing beautiful,
What's happening?
brother.
It's not that they love each other so much. It's that they got one common thread. And the common thread is to keep you down.
Sure.
They all on the same accord on that.
That's right.
So when they get through beating us up, they go on beat each other up.
Definitely.
But they keep the common thread in force. They keep you down. Through your education, through your economics, and most of all, they keep the prison system with your young brothers.
Come
right.
on.
Privatize it so that they can make money.
Oh, yeah.
Our soldiers.
And prosecutors, they never plan, man.
That's right.
You know, they don't run around with the hood no more.
They don't need to. They don't need to.
Big time.
Right.
Those are the ones, when you go in front of prosecutors, they ain't looking at you as a dividend.
Yeah. You a meal ticket, bro.
A dollar sign.
Even before that.
You see the Jefferson Barrett?
Mm-hmm.
And what they did over there, this man should have been charged. The more with this charge of firearm into the limit.
Come on.
Sound like you know a little law, bro.
Charged with nothing else.
Tell the truth.
You see what I'm saying? But he didn't get charged with anything. That tell you right there something is wrong.
Right.
They're telling you how you get justice in
Exactly.
America. They're explaining it to you right there in plain sight.
And we've seen it over and over and over and over and over and over again for centuries, dear brother. That's why we're at True Love Movement. We recognize that what our people face more than anything is a mental health crisis.
Yes.
And so we work specifically on the minds of black people. That's what we do. We specialize in that, uplifting and empowering our people to improve our own condition. And so that's what True Love Movement does. And we thank you for calling and contributing to the conversation, dear brother. Right on,
Thank you,
man.
brother.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
So, Mama Fiyah, the Rise Up Right Now moment for just us.
Just us. Let me just say this. I'm excited to say that 2 babies of the community were born recently, this week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I get excited and so full of joy when I know that our babies are being born.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that we are growing and expanding as a people. And we cannot keep dishing and giving our children that they inherit this understanding of justice, that they inherit this want and desire for it. We cannot keep doing the same thing that we've always done. We have to treat and give our babies something that they can use
Yes.
to propel the future of blackness, the future of African melanated, indigenous, original people, that we give them something that they can use. And so the only way to get there, you want to know the solution, you want to know the way to get there,
Give it to
the
them.
get there is just us.
Right.
Is giving each other the justice that we know we deserve as human beings. And when we do, there's something in us that's going to grow. There's something in us, the power will rise in us. And we will rise as a people.
That's right.
And I know this. So understand that there is an answer. You know, we think, oh, Lord, there's no
Right.
answer. We might as well just, give up. Oh, no, Kujichaga, we
Right.
never give up.
Right.
Self-determination, we have the power and to create a life in a understanding of life that is what we visualize for black people.
Right.
We have the power to create that. But until we come together, there's no understanding that we would never really understand that, Brother Shaq.
That's right.
We understand it individually, and it echoes out of you into other people.
That's right.
And as an example. And so just us, my people, it is just us.
That's right. And that don't feel as though there's some kind of lack, because your ice water is just as cold as the white man.
Oh.
That what happens, what you can create with your own black people is just as powerful and just as profound.
Even more
So-
powerful, Brother Shaq. That's
Yeah.
the point. Mentally, physically, and spiritually, even more powerful.
That's right.
Okay, we have been hurt and we are sick, but we may get well and we may be healed.
That's right.
Okay, and so that's where we heading.
And how can people catch up with True Love Movement, Mama Fiyah, if they want to get some of that, if they want to get something that's completely
Please
unique,
do.
and that deals with black mental health in a non-Eurocentric way?
It's about getting your mind right, period.
That's right.
And call us on the love line, 504-309-LOVE.
That's right.
Call us on the love line. See what we have to offer on www.truelovemovement.com.
That's right.
And we are on all social media.
Because it's just us, Mama
Just
Fiyah.
us.
It's
Come
just
on.
us.
Just
and,
us.
and real quick, we do have just a couple of announcements. There's something happening called Friends and Flows, the finale, featuring, I know our brother Brian Brown is a part of that.
That's nice.
And
It's an open mic.
it is, I'm not exactly sure. They've got they've got clothing, they've got massage therapy, they've got live painting.
Just
They've
a
got
show.
food trucks and more. This is happening today. It begins, it's actually just starting just now at 6 o'clock, from 6 to 10 at the Urban South Brewery, located at 1645 Chapatula Street. And that, again, is free at the Urban South Brewery, 1645 Chapatula Street. And that just came in. And then there is this Keepers of the Culture, a youth exhibition, which is curated by the artist Journey Allen. It's coming up on Friday, December 9th from 6
that's
to
going to
9.
be nice.
We hope Journey Allen is listening and what have you, but
it's a Maru scholar.
correct. And the viewing of the program documentary is at 8 p.m. And this is at Community Book Center, 2523 Bayou Road, featuring, as Mama Fiyah said, the Amaru Community Homeschool and the McDonough 28 City Park Academy.
Shout out to Artist Journey.
Definitely.
Yeah, and all her beautiful work with the youth.
Definitely. So there's some things right there on the 18th. Our dear brother T. Ray is bringing Love Jones 2. T. Ray the violinist in Dreams to Reality is bringing Love Jones 2 back to the Rebellion Cafe on Camp
It's
Street.
all about love. Y'all come on, that's a beautiful night.
We are hosting again. It is going to be powerful. I believe it's going to be a live CD recording. This is time to get booed up. The weather's nice, and you should be getting warm with someone that you love.
That you love and that you're giving justice to.
Indeed, indeed. And
Yeah.
so many things happening in the city of New Orleans at all times. And we just thank you. We're grateful for all of your feedback and your support. Thank you to everybody who hung in there with us on the Facebook Live through all the interruptions and what have you. Shout out to all of our listeners, everybody on the app, on the computer, everybody who will share the show later on.
Share it.
Please share the show, and we will be putting out we'll take all the pieces and put them together for a complete show. And also check out some of the previous shows to understand that for the entire 152 shows that we've been on the air in 3 years, Mama Fiyah, True Love Movement has been about the business of uplifting and empowering, improving the condition of black people in a very non-reactionary sort of way. And we're proud of that work. And,
very proud.
And we are, when you think black mental health, think True Love Movement.
That's right.
I'm Brother Shaq.
And Mama Fiyah.
For the True Love Movement Hour.
Wholeness.
We want to thank everybody who has tuned in with us. I know there's, I think, Mama Fiyah, there's at least 2 of them out here now of the True Love Movement Hour. And we're going to put all that together probably in a YouTube video, because we also recognize that this has been a powerful show. And so, ain't no surprise that there's some interruptions. You know, every time we have a real strong show like that, a real powerful show at a powerful time, these kind of things happen. But we're going to overcome that. Thank you again, Facebook Live family. Please share the episodes that are out there and give us some feedback on it. And, I mean, there's so many things that we would have liked to have covered in such a topic so important as Just Us. And we can continue this conversation on social media if you like, or at any time. Follow True Love Movement on Instagram, Mama Fiyah. That's right, at True Love Movement. We're on Twitter at TLMHR. Follow the SoundCloud, True Love Movement HR SoundCloud, and of course the YouTube True Love Movement Hour channel.
That's right. Shout out to Brandy Benjamin.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been commenting a lot, and shout out to you for being a part of the conversation.
Definitely.
The True Love Movement Hour is not just me and Brother Shaq show, you know, that we sit up and talk and, you know, philosophize. This is for us.
Right.
This whole show is for us. This hour is for us.
That's right. Yeah, we're having a conversation that we know is happening all across the United States and in everywhere where our people are. And so we want the conversation to continue. We want the energy to stay. And we want our people to stay focused on this until we bring it into full reality where the masses of our people are able to enjoy one another and feel safe around other black people with pride. So I'm Brother Shaq.
Oh, and Mama Fiyah.
For the True Love Movement Hour Facebook Live family, we give thanks. We signing off.